Hello, welcome to the Locker System V2 tutorial. In this, I'll be going over how to set up the system, how to change the UI sounds, how to change permissions, adding different models to the system, adding outfits, and how to change between R6 and R15. So, the first section will be basic setup. What you want to do is drag the file into your studio and it will show up here under compiled Locker System as a folder. You want to open it up and you'll see there's teams, replicated storage, the script service, and workspace folders. What you want to do to begin with is open the workspace folder, select everything inside of it and put it in the workspace like so. Then you want to open up the server script service and put the script in server script service. And what you want to do is open the replicated storage folder and put this stuff in replicated storage. And then you want to just for now put the teams in the teams folder, and you can leave the spawns that as so. That is the basic setup done. Now, let's say you want to change the sounds made on the UI. What you want to do is open the server script service, open the UI, open the frame up, open up the local script, and you'll see two sounds. The click one is the sound made when you click on something, and the select one is what is the sound played when your mouse hovers over one of the things. So that if you want to change them, what you want to have is the sound ID you want and just put it in place of these ones. And that's basically all there is to changing the UI sounds. The next section we'll be going over is changing up the permissions of stuff. So, in everything, so if you open up locker data, any body type, in everything, for example a watch and one of the hats, inside of them all, there is a module script called permissions. This is what the system opens up and gets all the permission types from. So we'll open it up and you'll be brought up with this. There's 5 things in the permission script that can all be changed. The first one is require team. If you set this to true, then the script will check group permissions and team permissions. So if you want, for example, the person to be on the MTF team and be in the MTF group and be a certain rank, you would set require team to true. If you only wanted people to be on a team or in a group, you would set it to false. If that doesn't make sense, I suggest just listen to it again, and if it still doesn't make sense, you can send me a DM and I'll help you out. The next one is Game Pass locked? So if this is set to true, the script will only check the Game Pass. If it's not true, then it will check it as an all else fails. So if they're not in a team and they're not in a group, then it will check the Game Pass. But if you want just a Game Pass permission, as in you only want people with the Game Pass to be able to access it, you set is Game Pass locked to true. The next one is Game Pass. You just put in your Game Pass IDs that you want to be valid. So let's say we want to add one and its ID is whatever. That's how you do it. You just do a comma, quotation marks, and then put in the ID as such. The next one is team permissions. It's pretty much the same as Game Pass. You put comma, quotation marks, and add the name of the team. And I say the name of the team you want to be added. So let's say we want science department. You just put in that name. Make sure it's a team, and people on the team will be able to use it. if you want to remove stuff, just remove it and the comma to the left of it, like so. And it goes the same for game pass. And then the final one is group perms. What you want to do for this one is add a comma, open quotation marks, put in the group ID, so the ID of the group you want, and then do a colon, and then put in the rank ID of the minimum rank you want in that group to be able to access it. So let's say we have a rank called Sergeant, and its ID is 50, and we want Sergeant and above, then we'd just put 50. If any of this doesn't make sense, I suggest rewatching this bit. And if it doesn't make sense, you can do the same as with the require team thing and just send me a DM and I'll help you out with that. That is basically how you set up the permissions. The next thing we'll be going over is adding a model. So let's say we want to add in let's say we want to add in something to the torso. What you want to do is just open up the torso thing of the character type you'll be using, so R15 or R6. In this case we'll be using R15. And you want to open up body parts, you want to open up the torso bit, and just duplicate any of them. Give it a name. For this we're just naming it Brick. And then that's basically it. If you want to change the actual model, what you'll notice there's a folder called lower and a folder called upper. The lower folder is the lower body thing, so it would be, it'd be this thing on the character, this bit here. So the lower folder is for belts, as an example, anything here. And then the upper folder here is for the actual upper body of the R15 character, so for vests and whatever. If that doesn't make sense, you can again ask me questions in DMs. But for this one, what we'll be doing is just opening up each folder, deleting what's currently there. Leave the part called the middle. That is what everything is welded to and how the system puts it on your character. So we have our thing we'll be creating called Brick. For this, to make it easier on us, we'll just be going and putting it in the workspace so we can actually see what's going on. And we're just going to make a new brick, and we're going to put it in the upper folder, and we'll be doing it like this. We'll just be positioning it, because if you'll notice, the middle part is put where the upper torso bit is, so you can use these characters for reference, so you can actually see where it's going to be placed on a character. So let's say we just want to make this super big, we want to make it extend out everywhere like so. And then what you want to do is make sure it's not anchored. This bit is important, otherwise it's going to mess up with the weld. And then what you want to do is weld it. So weld it to the middle part, which will be here. If you want to learn how to quickly weld stuff, I have put a link here in the instruction script to a plugin that welds stuff for you. So when I'll show you how to add more complex models to stuff, I'll show you how to use it there. So now if we just make sure it's unanchored, yep. And if we now just put this in the R15 torso bit, and now if we play test, it will show up and it will work. Torso, here we go, here's our brick. There we go, it's welded to us. Now, let's say we want to add something more complex. I'm just going to go and add in and find a vest that I've saved. Just gonna get it from a free released pack of stuff. Right, let's say we want this vest here. I'm just gonna grab the model of it. Here we go, here's our vest. It's pretty much looking like the same as the current one that's already set up, but that doesn't matter. So we have our model of the vest we want to add in, so let's just duplicate one of the stuff in Torso already, put it in the workspace, give it a different name, so like make sure it's not named as anything already in that body part area, otherwise it will have trouble trying to find the right one. So we'll name it Ranger Vest, like so. We're going to delete everything already there, which will be the part. Then what we want to do is put the model in the folder. We want to make sure it's all ungrouped, so it's easier for welding. So if we just ungroup it all, there we go. And then what we want to do is position it on our character. Just make sure it looks nice and everything. There we go. That'll do. I just need to position it here. There we go. And there we go. Right, so we've now positioned our vest where we want it and everything on the character. And I'll now be showing you how absolutely time-saving and helpful this plugin is. If you've installed it, it will show up in your plugins tab as weld constraint. What you want to do is you want to select all of the parts that you want to be welded. So here we go, we've selected them all. Then we want to select the middle part, and then up here where it says weld constraint, the plugin, you click on it, and now if you open up the middle part, you'll see it's created welds. So you'll see how there's no welds there. They're all they're all welds that are no longer valid because they're from parts that I've destroyed. So we select all of our new parts that we're making for the vest. Then we finally select middle. Click the weld constraint plugin button, and you'll see it's created all the welds for us. None of the manual having to click this and manually weld everything, it just does it all for you, which is an absolute time saver, I must say. And I'm thankful to whoever made this plugin. So the final thing we want to do is just drag our new vest into the torso thing, test it, and it will show up and work. And if you want to change its permissions, you just do as what I told you to do in the permissions section. So if you're going to open up torso, here we go, Ranger Vest. Problem. Something I forgot to tell you about. If we bring it back out into workspace so we can see what's going on, you need to make sure everything is unanchored, which I forgot to do. So select all of the parts that aren't the middle and unanchor them. And then, just as a final check, make sure the middle part isn't anchored. Just make sure everything is unanchored, and then it will work. There we go, we have our vest. I didn't really position it correctly, but it works for the purposes of this tutorial. You can fiddle around and make everything for you perfect in your own time, but this tutorial is running quite late and I still have quite a bit more to show you. So let's say we want to add outfits. What you want to do is go in your chosen body type, open up the outfits folder, and you'll see there's two currently made outfits for you that are an example. Just duplicate one of them, name it whatever you want. So for this, I'm going to name it Sergeant and then open it up and you'll see it has arms, head, legs, torso and uniform folders. In these you want to open up each, and you'll see that there's folders with names of already made equipment. So let's say we want our new outfits to have a different hat. We would open up the body parts folder, open up the head, and from whatever's currently in here, you can name this one of them. So let's say you want to give it the SWAT helmet, we name it SWAT helmet. The names have to completely match up. Let's say we want to give it a different legs model, then we want it to be Range Master, we just name it Range Master. For torso, let's say we want to give it a different thing, like the Ranger vest that we just made, just name it Ranger vest. And let's say you want to give it a different uniform. For uniforms, you can close that, the body parts folder, open up the uniforms folder, and you can name it anything that's currently there. So let's just name it after camo. And then changing permissions is like changing all the equipment, just leave it as whatever. And that's basically how you make an outfit. If we now go in to our game and we open up the outfits, there we go, we have our sergeant outfit. If we equip it, I believe what is happening here is we've named something incorrectly. So if that happens, what you want to do is make sure you have named everything correctly, and I've already seen my error. I've put Ranger Master instead of Range Master. So if you get this error here where it says attempt to index nil with clone on line 422, or any line like in your script here, anything to do in this entire section, then generally what it's telling you is you've named something in your outfit incorrectly. So just make sure you've double checked the names of everything and they match up. Now I've fixed the name error. If I go in now and try and equip it, there we go. We have our new outfit with the SWAT helmet, the watch, the Range Master, legs, and the vest. That is how you add outfits. If you need help with this, I suggest you re-watch everything again. And if you still can't figure it out, then I suggest sending me a DM and I will help you out. Alright, so let's say you want to add tools, you want to change tools, you want to remove tools. It's pretty much easy as pie. What you want to do is open up your tools folder. You'll see there's 3 folders: primary, secondary, and add-ons. Primary and secondary are built into the system. You can't remove them, and you can't add more than primary and secondary to the built-in stuff. You can change the tools in them, and to add tools, what you want to do is just, let's say you want to add a tool, and let's say it's already a gun you already have, so let's say it's an MP5. Let's say this tool I've just made is an already made tool with a gun system behind it and everything, and it's an MP5. All you need to do is open up one of the pre-given tools, copy the category and permissions folder, and paste them into your new tool. And you want to make sure in the category its value is the thing it is. So let's say we put our MP5 in secondary. We want to make sure the value of the category is secondary. And then you can change permissions like everything here. Let's say now you want to add more sections. Well, to do this, you open up add-ons, and you can see there's MISC 1, MISC 2, MISC 3. These are just example ones given, but if you open up, you can see there's tools. Let's say you want to add another category. You add in another folder to the add-ons, and let's say you want to name it backup. Let's say you want to give it a tool, then we just add a tool, and we want to paste in those the category and the permissions thing, and you make sure the value of the category is the value of the category, which is backup. So you make it backup and change permissions and everything like always. That's basically how you add categories, how you add tools. If this doesn't make sense, I recommend you go over the section again. And if it still doesn't make sense, you can of course send me a DM. Now we're on to our final section, changing the body type. If you open up your server script here, open up the GUI, open up the frame and find your local script. If you open that up and the server script, you'll see there's handler, locker system main. If you go all the way up to the top of them, you'll see there's a variable called rtype and type. Just change it to either R15 or R6 depending on what you want. So now I'm changing it to R6. Run the game and the system will now be operating with R6. Oh wait, yeah. You also need to make sure your character is actually an R6 character. So I'll do that now. If you try and get it to do R6 stuff on an R15 character, it will not work. So, there we go, we have our outfit on R6, we have our stuff on R6. There we go. So, that's how you change the body type. And that is pretty much everything there is to the system. If you think I've missed something, or you have an issue or a question that isn't covered in this tutorial video, you can send me a DM and I will of course help you and get your system working for you. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys have a good day and have fun with this system. I hope it makes your games a lot better. And other than that, goodbye.